most of us, club golfers and people like you and myself, when we have a lesson and you go and have your lesson and you improve something, at the beginning it's fresh, it's exciting, it feels so different, doesn't it? Now, for a little while, that stays the case. Once you see an improvement, you can feel the tightness in your case, you feel the resistance here, and it starts working. And at that point, it's exciting because it's working. However, that's the point where I think it's easy to just relax a little bit, and things drift back. If you look, most of us, we have the same habits that we've had for years.
Yeah.
You've probably had the same habits in your golf swing for years.
Oh, 100%.
I certainly have, and I think most club golfers do. But I think what happens is we improve it, and when we've got it, we relax. That's the point, actually, where it's my job and your job to go, I need more from you than that. I need you to push on past what you think is right. So when it drifts back to the correct position. It's hard to do. It's hard for me to convince you when you're absolutely striping it to say to you, Alex, I need more out of you than that because I want your default habit now to be the other side. Hard to do.
Okay, and that switching mentality is better for me as well, in the sense of you saying you want and for everybody, your default habit to be the complete opposite to the default habit you want last time. I think a lot of people look at it and go, this is the habit that I had, can I just practice away from it? Rather than going with the mentality of, can I just go to the opposite habit? And 100%. That's quite a good way of thinking about it, actually.
I always try to exaggerate the opposite with everybody.
Yeah.
Regardless of standard, we'll always go the opposite way because we relax, we revert. But if you're reverting from an opposed position, you're reverting back to neutral. Whereas if you only just got it right and then you're drifting away again. I think
that's what I felt like I was at. Like I had like 2 weeks where I was like, I feel like God right now.
I saw it. And I saw it when you were here. I saw how well you hit it. And I saw the videos after it that you sent of how well you hit it.
Yeah.
And as I've just said to you, having videoed you again just now, my gut feeling is you're going to feel disappointed. You shouldn't be disappointed, but it's perhaps not quite as good as it was when you left here.
Yeah.
But it's a normal occurrence.
Okay.
But I know what you're like. You're going to want to see it better than it was. And just like all of the rest of us golfers, you're going to see a middle ground. You're going to see somewhere between last time and today, or where you began last time, sorry, and the way you ended last time is where you find yourself today.
And is that a good, if for everybody who takes lessons, no matter who it's from, is that a good thing to sort of be aware of? Don't expect it to be the complete opposite and where you want it to be after one lesson. It's going to take 6. I think people measure themselves and go, I have one lesson, that's me fixed. It's like 6 to 8, maybe 12 months, maybe even 18 months worth of work.
It depends how much time people have got to implement a lesson. Sometimes people just want a quick lesson, stop me slicing it. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I spend a lot of time doing that and love it. But it takes time to change a habit.
Yeah.
And it is my job to push you beyond where you think you should be so you settle back into the right place. And what we're seeing here, for example, if you remember last time, it was quite long.
Yeah.
It was very across the line.
Yeah.
You were quite leggy at the top. We tightened up the right side here. We got the forearms rotating differently. We tightened it up. We actually got the path to be slightly left at the top, which was great. Now, where we find ourselves today, as you'll see here in a second, if we said an on-plane swing, Alex, is that, if we were parallel at the top, you're just shy of parallel, which is great. Which means where would you expect the shaft to point at the top?
Well, for me, ideally, a little bit to the left.
Yeah, because it hasn't quite reached the parallel, which is great. Now, what do we actually see here today?
Point a little bit right.
We see a shaft that's short of parallel, but it is pointing right. So, actually, can you see the impact it's had on your swing plane?
Yeah.
It doesn't look a lot from there.
No.
Because it's short, but it's short and right. So it is actually quite a bit at the top. Okay. Now, I still think this path is better than it was a few
definitely. But I've definitely not seen the dispersion of ball flight what I had last time, the right, left, right, left. I've had more of a pattern of a little bit straight to a little bit left of target. That's been my pattern.
Yeah. Well, I think you get a scenario where from here, you have basically 2 options to get the club back on plane. You either stay on this plane, slide, which you see a lot of good players do. They'll talk about getting stuck and then they get a bit handsy. Alternatively, the handle comes forward to pull it back on plane, which is very common amongst club golfers, as you know, coming slightly over it. But that when the handle starts to come forward to pull it back round, where does your stripe move to?
Path move starts to move left
and
or
the
left,
stripe
right.
goes to where on the face?
Well, Healy.
Healy, which is exactly what you've had a few of. So I think what we do is we just revisit this for a few minutes. We tighten things back up at the top again. Let's see if we can get that feeling back of what feels to be over here. That stretch at the top.
And would it be safe to say, because I had that second swing thought last time of getting more into that left, because I had that as a swing thought, as well as tightening this up, even though the backswings regressed slightly, that idea of getting into my left has stopped me getting so stuck.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, that part's still extremely good.
Okay, so that's...
Which is why it is exciting, because I know that as soon as you've got this back on at the top, this will be back to how you were hitting it.
I'm excited. Can we just see it on here, like where I'm at on those swings? So would you say my downswing improvements are better than my backswing improvements?
Yes, I would say so. I think that's fair. So if we look at it from the front here, that movement is not a move you had last time.
No.
So this is fantastic. You're covering it well, your chest staying on top of it.
And that's why I'm finding heel strikes, just to reiterate that point to people.
Your hand positioning.
How much better is that?
Is miles better.
Oh my God.
Than you were a few weeks ago.
Well, it's like when you did that demo of having it on your left thigh. That's pretty much bang on, right?
So that part of it, when we look at it face on, it's an exciting time.
I'm excited about that.
When looking it down the line, you think, well, okay, could be a little bit better. But that, to me, I'm excited about that part.
Yeah.
But you've improved the leg action immensely, and the forward side of it's brilliant. But we're going to tighten this back side of it up because, as you'll see here, that could be a little better than we were. And it will be.
And you can actually see me, the club is nowhere near as behind me on the way down.
Absolutely not.
And that's, again, linking back to why I found those sort of Healy strikes and my patterns being straight to a bit left.
Yeah, we'll sort this now. So we're going to go back to tightening you up.
I really enjoyed that idea last time of that right knee, but I guess because it was dead tight before and I've got a little more flexible to that, it's then hard to sort of
replicate it. Yeah, but we'll do it now. So we go back. Do you remember how when we reached halfway here, this point, that's when we start, the feeling starts here, not before it. Okay, very slow.
I know what's coming now.
Okay, that's it. Resist, rotate that left forearm out of the way. Yeah, there you go. That's a total opposite of where you've been, Alex. Yeah, and to you, the feeling I'm certain is that the club's over here somewhere. It's about...
It feels like it's down here.
Half a swing, yeah.
I literally feel like I'm going to take up that stick.
And I think that's how it's going to feel again. I know when we hit it, we're not going to see any of this.
No.
But we'll see a really neutral place.
Okay. So shall I just try and hit a few away like that?
Yes, please. You can do better than that one. Let's go again.
God, blimey. It's tough school there now. That felt really exaggerated. What needed to be better on? Does the arm or the leg or both?
Arms. Shorter and arms. There we go. Now, let me show you those two swings. Okay. This was your first of those two shots.
On the right?
Yeah. This was the second of those two.
Oh, wow.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to show you.
I'm actually shocked at that because I felt like that one here on the right, I exaggerated ridiculously.
Yeah.
And then that, I tripled it and was almost like, I'm going to show Anders I can do this.
I have to show you because I'm not sure I can convince you of that without you seeing this.
I agree with that. I agree totally.
But that's something I think all golfers can relate to.
Yeah.
We think we're doing something and you do something and you think you've exaggerated it and you look at it and think, well, it's actually not enough yet.
I would never have believed it was that exaggerated.
Yeah.
As in, like, that would perform, that would create that. I was expecting it to be stupid, but that's perfect.
It's bang on.
Perfect. My legs look really good there as well.
Tight, isn't it?
Really good. And would you say it's a good thing? Like, I always say this to students, is like, if you're coming back and we're working on the same thing, we're not fighting fires. We're just developing and improving and refining the same problem.
If you're going for golf lessons on a regular basis, and every time you go, it is something different, I'd be questioning that.
Yeah.
Personally,
yeah.
To be honest, I think there would be an issue there.
Yeah.
If you're revisiting things It might be one or two things that might be three things even, that you're revisiting. I think it sounds like the coach has got a plan. It sounds to me like that he's got a plan of where he's taking you.
Yeah.
If you walk in and this week it's this thing, next week it's this, next week it's something else, I'd be having to ask questions of where are we heading here?
We're just putting plasters over different things, not building towards something.
Now, as the student, you might think that's a frustrating position to come back and the coach is telling you something the same again. That's a normal occurrence if you are trying to make a genuine change.
Okay.
So it's certainly, the coach himself is not going to be frustrated with you, I promise you that. He knows that if you've worked at it, let's go again. Some things you do, and they're easy, and you think, oh, well, I've cracked that. And some things are tough. In your case here, what we're seeing so far is your movement through the ball is superb.
I'm genuinely surprised at how good that is.
Yeah,
like
but
really
that's
good.
Stuck.
Yes,
Your
definitely.
hand positioning and impact
Feels so
miles
good.
better. But the toughie for you is behind you.
Yeah.
It's the toughie. It's the one I've got to say, come on, give me more, give me more. But for somebody else, Alex, might be the other way around. They might find that one easy.
Yeah.
And this one hard. Everybody's different. But the fact that you're having to revisit it is a very normal occurrence and a sign that you and your coach are on the same page.
It's good for you to say that, and it's good for people to listen to that point, because a lot of people think they're working on the same things constantly, they're doing the wrong things, and why can't I get it? But actually, there's probably a period of time where you've got to do the same thing over and over again to make it to become automatic.
And I think it's the coach's job is sometimes to be able to say the same thing in different ways to different people to find out what keywords works for him or her. And you might be trying to say the same thing to two people, but one person responds to one better than another.
Yeah.
But it's the coach's job is to get that out of them, to see what works for that person.
Right, okay, let's have another few goes at this. So there and that.
Fabulous.
That felt ridiculously short.
It's good.
That felt ridiculously short. And should I just continue with the same feelings, or is there any other drill that I could sort of do to do this?
I will just keep doing this for now because it works. Love it. And again, that's kind of where we ended up last time.
That ball flight's come lower straight away.
What's interesting though is even at the beginning of today's lesson, your numbers were very different to last time.
Yeah, massively different.
Very different. Love it. Alex, that's your best swing today by miles.
That felt $1 million, that, Anders.
And that's how I saw you hitting the ball last time, and that's how you'll hit it again today. Yeah, mint. Absolutely mint.
That, if I describe that to people how that feels, I'm going to do it like a demo. Because I'm doing this.
Yeah, we're not seeing it.
I've got that tightness, and I think I quite like that idea of it being tight in the backswing. It's like you described to me last time, everything's doubling up as you coil.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've got that back, whereas I'm not saying I've gone back to this, but I didn't have the idea of my hips turning a little bit more than my knees, my sort of coil, my shoulders turning a little bit more on this. I felt a little bit more
Yeah, and
loose.
that's fair. There's been a little give. It's normal. If you look at your numbers here, though, on these last 4 or 5 shots, swing path, 0.3 left, 0.7 left, 1.2 left, 1 left. We were 4.5 right constantly. Between 4 and 6 probably. But this is where we need to be now for your new plane of golf swing. But it's within a degree.
I don't even feel like I'm having to control that.
Okay. I like
As in, like, I just feel that that's happening.
Yeah. Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. If you do your bit, this should be the case.
Whereas if you asked me to try and create the number before, I could sort of probably try and
No, I don't think you should try and manipulate a number. I think if you swing well, this is just confirming that what the path you're going down is the right one. That's all.
And the question I've got for you is, so like on the golf course, I'm always split with this idea of, do I have a swing thought that is mechanical and see what ball flight comes out? Or I remember saying this to you last time, I'm a golfer that if I see a shot, I can play a shot. You put me behind a tree, I'll probably hit the green pre having lessons with you more than if I was in the middle of the fairway. So now I'm hitting more fairways. I'm always stuck with this idea of, do I stand here and try and just play the shot, Or do I work to this swing thought and just hit it and aim middle of the green and see what comes out? I always get stuck and crossed over between those two thoughts.
For me, I think I'm in the second camp, really. I think, in fact, I know I am, because you need to think of that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't do it.
Yeah.
You've just proved that in 2 shots.
Yeah.
That unless you are really, really committed to that swing, it's not happening.
No.
And the result then isn't the result we want anyway. So for me, you need that swing thought.
Okay.
And you need to be doubled down on it. The result then happens anyway.
Yeah, it becomes a lot more neutral, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I do think for quite a while you're going to have that thought in you. Even when you're striking it like you've just done, that's the point where it's dangerous, because that's the point you're going to start relaxing, thinking, I'm enjoying it again.
Yeah.
That's the point where I've got to convince you to go more again.
Okay.
Because it works, but you run the risk of relaxing, and what happens when you relax? You're reverting to your type.
Yes.
And then we find ourselves, if you're not careful, going backwards to where you used to be. So when you start hitting it like you've just done,
keep going.
Come on, give me a bit more.
Right, these 3 right here, I'll really exaggerate even more.
I don't want any more than that.
That was mega.
Just that.
Landers, that felt so good.
That is good. That is proper. There we go. It's good, isn't it?
It's really good. I noticed straight away, like, all those benefits of me being more like this rather than last time I was here.
Yeah.
I'm now able to access them. I've not got that heel strike now.
No.
So just to explain to people before, who just do it with me here, why I then was seeing a heel strike, I was a little bit across the line, but I was making a good move here, and essentially...
So perhaps let's do both. Let's exaggerate both. So from the top of the backswing...
So I was somewhere here.
Let's exaggerate. From here, you have two ways back to the ball. You either stick to this swing plane, which traps you there, or the handle starts to go forward to pull it back on plane. Well, if you pull it forward 1/3 of an inch too much, where's your strike?
Moving towards the heel.
Of course it is. And that's what we saw, a little loop at the top there.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But that's gone now.
Now more here.
So there you go. So on the way down now, this your basically your left tricep sits more into your chest here, doesn't it?
Yep.
That's it.
And then now we're more here.
There you go.
That's literally how I feel at impact right now.
Well, that's where it is. And again. And of course, one thing you can expect, I think we've touched upon it last time, is because the swing is technically slightly shorter, the time it takes you to hit it is fractionally less.
Yeah.
So if your swing tempo feels a touch quicker...
That one did, actually.
It's not wrong.
Okay.
It's perfectly acceptable. It's going to be, isn't it, if it's taking less time?
Sure.
Don't try and artificially slow it.
Okay.
Just let it be a little bit brisk. Sweet. It's just straight, isn't it, the flight there? There's no shape.
Nothing to it. And that's how I had for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Sweet.
Wow.
But to see, it's exciting to see the numbers go from so much in to out to now sitting from, I don't know, you're probably 1/3 of a degree left to 1.5 left. That's a tight band, that is. And your miss is going to be decent.
Well, I'd say that's the biggest thing. I'm not only hitting it better, but the miss now isn't no way near as big. It's tight. Yeah, of course, you're not going to hit every green, but one thing to notice massively is the driver, which would be cool to see where we're at with that. Yeah. So just to summarise, what I've got to do here is, again, this feeling of being tight. And if I was somebody watching this and I had the same thing, obviously you can give me that sensation here. How could I replicate that without having someone do this for me?
I'd use a mirror, I think.
Okay.
And watch it. So we've got the mirror here.
Okay, ace.
So from there, you can see it and get a feeling for, we're not looking for it to be still, Alex. There's still a rotation here. But with you, we had a tendency of that, where the hip the leg kind of locked out, the hip turned, overturned, and we're across. We're trying to restrict it for you.
Yes.
That might be different for somebody who's 60.
Yeah.
But I like mirror work because you see everything live. So from this angle, you can see it all.
And what you're seeing there is, if I did that here, what for me, I could see a big gap here.
Yeah.
I'm looking
There you go.
more like this.
So for you, perhaps the telltale sign is how much daylight have you got here?
Yes.
And when you've done it well, the answer is there's none.
I like
Whereas before, there was plenty.
Because I could just do reps of
There you
this at
go.
home, right?
Yeah.
Really.
I think a lot of things you can practice at home if you know what you're doing. I think there's a lot of value in that.
Because you're getting a feeling without consequence.
Yeah.
So you can really get that idea.
Just seeing it in a mirror or a patio door.
I like that. Anders, thanks for that.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.